Hello everybody, it's Josh here from SBC. Today we're taking a look at Betdaq. So they obviously have a very good introductory offer for SBC members. And one of the things that they're very strong on is they offer 0% commission on their enhanced specials. Now this can be anything from shots on target to assists to enhanced trebles. And then it also covers sports like horse racing, where you can have a certain jockey to have so many wins. Now, what we want to be able to do is to calculate the true odds of these things happening, and then we can find value in either the back or the lay side of those. So what we've done today is we've teamed up with our friends over at Bookie Bashing, and we have the master, Tom Brownlee, here to explain how to use their tools to calculate true odds. So good morning, Tom.
Morning, Josh. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks yourself.
Yeah, second time we're doing this. Let's hope the recording software works this time. Okay.
Yes, between us, we're not the technological masters, are we? But yeah. So, Tom, do you just want to introduce why there's so much value available in these enhanced specials? What's going on in the market?
Sure, I'm just going to bring them up whilst I do that as well. So the enhanced specials are where the bookmaker boosts a particular price. They might offer £10 liquidity or liability or salad to score first, something like that. And those markets go up on the exchange. And they can actually be quite biased because what happens is match bettors, arbitrage players will back them and then they will lay them, and there are more match bettors in the market than there are backers in the market, and so the price is artificially high. So if we've got an idea of what the price could be, then we can take advantage either by backing or sometimes by laying. But the important thing is we need to know what the fair odds are. We need to be able to benchmark ourselves the precise price in order for us to know whether we're backing at value or laying at value.
Yeah, so we've got this large match betting community. There's some sites, there's some very big YouTube accounts and Twitter accounts, and they'll just do this for every single bet. So they might be getting 150% EV on an even money bet with a bookmaker, but they're still not going to take that bet and just let it run. They're going to lay it off on exchanges, and that's where we can take all of this advantage. So, Tom, we've got a nice little collection of bets today, even though it's just a Monday. We've got Dwight McNeil to have an assist in the game tonight, and that's Everton versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Could you just demonstrate for us how we would work out the true odds of that using the bookie bashing tools?
Sure, just having a look at him. 5.2 is the traded price, and that's so there's no back, but whoever is seeding that back price at 5.2, it is being taken. So using the bet builder, if I pop over to Bookie Bashing, this is one of our tools. I'm going to use Bookie Bashing lines for this. Now you can use loads of different input sources: Betfair Exchange, best bookmaker price. I'm using an in-house database here of player stats, which covers shots on target, assists, passes, tackles, fouls, saves. So this is an assist. Pick the game, which is Everton versus Crystal Palace. Pick Dwight McNeil, and I see here that the fair odds are 4.87. And I can save this to my private tracker if I put in Matchbook. And the reason for that is that if the price changes over the day, then I can follow him. I can see if the EV rises. I mean, just now at 0% commission, that's about a 7, 8, 9% EV bet off the top of my head. So it's quite a decent bet just to start off with. It's not available to back, but you could seed the lay there.
And as the day moves on and more match bettors start to take this enhanced boost, there's likely to be liquidity there, isn't there? That's another big advantage of the private tracker within Bookie Bashing, that as the EV changes over the day, you'll be able to see where the value lies. So
yeah,
as that price changes, that will come up. Yeah, that's great.
For sure.
In that same game, Tom, we've got Jack Harrison to have 2 shots on target. Would you be able to show us using the tools whether that's a value bet or not?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the price history here, 7.7, 7.5 has been traded there. I don't know what the price is that the bookmakers boosted to here. Maybe it's Sky Bet, maybe it's William Hill. We do have a tracker at Bookie Bashing. Just depends if the team's got around to putting that up yet. But let's change assists to shot on target. And let's change this to Jack Harrison. And now we see that 1 plus is 2.33, but 2 plus would be 9.18. Again, I can save that to my private tracker at 7.7. But now we don't have a value bet to back. We do have a value bet to lay. Off the top of my head, that's about 10%, 15% EV. What you're doing here, though, is that you're really having a value bet at 1.14. Not for everybody. When I'm laying at 7.7, I like to be doing it in a market such as horse racing or first goal scorer, where I'm laying multiple options to sort of manage my liability, my variance. Here, if it's just the one player that you would be laying at 7.7 for value, there's only £8 there, although £239 been matched. Perhaps the bookmaker has only boosted this to 7 to 1, 8.0, in which case it's not going to reach a price that's value to back, and the only option is to lay. But value still exists in this market.
This is where we always criticise bookmakers for their behaviour, but they've got a very different risk tolerance to us, haven't they, when they're laying like 20 to 1 shots and stuff to us. They're effectively taking a 1 to 20 bet, and this is where it comes down to the individual risk profile of the player, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They want to take lots of these short places. Yeah.
Although I was speaking to a bookie bashing member who had laid Foden to get a hat-trick at 180 the other week, and then Foden got that hat-trick, and I don't know how much he laid, but the answer is it will have stung, whatever it was. But, value is value. The only thing I would just be wary of there is when you're betting at different odds ranges, make sure that you adjust your EV if you're using the same risk profile. I would happily bet 3, 4, 5% EV at evens. At 100 to 1, I need 20, 30, 40, 50% EV. EV does need to rise as the magnitude of the odds rise for the same risk profile. Okay? The third bet here we have is a match odds treble. Everton, Sporting Lisbon and Athletic Bilbao all to win. Now, you don't really need a bookie bashing bet builder for this. You could just multiply the 3 prices on the exchange. However, you can use the bookie bashing bet builder to track it over the day, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So the first game, Betfair Exchange team to win, I'm going to use as the input source. Crystal Palace, it was Everton to win that. The second game was Sporting Lisbon. I'm going to type them in here. And there's Sporting, and the third bet was
Bilbao.
Yeah, Bilbao, Athletic Bilbao Baggins, which I can't spell, and there they are. And the fair odds of these 3 teams, if you multiply them together, is 4.79. Now, 4.8 is available to lay, nothing to back, but I imagine that's going to come in at 4.7. Look, the match odds trebles are not complicated to work out. Anybody can multiply 3 numbers together. And for that reason, I tend to find that on the enhanced specials, there's not much value in the match odds trebles just because they're so easy to work out. For example, let's just say Manchester United to win was on here. That wouldn't be a biased market. It would be too easy to work out. Therefore, the market would be efficient no matter what it had been boosted to. And it's kind of the same for the match odds trebles. So when I see these things, it doesn't surprise me at all that the 2 player statistics, which are slightly harder to work out value for, have got matched prices, whereas the match odds treble has not got any liquidity matched on it.
Is the value there, Tom, in the tracker itself? So, like you've said there, you can add that to your personal tracker.
Yeah,
when team news comes out, or if there's smart money for a certain team, that can either steam or it can drift.
That's right.
A value on the other side. Yeah.
So if I save this here to my private tracker and go over to my bet tracker, here is my bet tracker, and I can see that Everton, Sporting Lisbon and Bilbao has drifted ever so slightly since I put it up. So you could bet on this as a steamer, but that's the only reason you're betting on it when the value's not there at a static price.
That's the comparison as well, isn't it? So the bookmakers who are offering these enhanced specials and the match bettors who are then laying them off, their price is going to stay the same throughout the day, whereas we, as value bettors, can be a bit more nimble and we can react to any differences on the Betfair markets or from wherever else we're getting the true odds from.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we said that those trebles with football were quite easy to work out. This next bet, Tom, we've got a jockey winning 2 races at Lingfield today, so it's Oisin Murphy.
It is. It's
It's a little bit more complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, this is him to
Is
win.
there a way of putting this up?
This is him to win 2+ winners at Lingfield today, right? Now, again, well, we've got 1.83 to back, 1.95 to lay. Are either of those value? Well, looking at the history, this now determined it has been drifting, but that's going to happen in this market because this is all of Murphy's horses at Lingfield today. The individual win prices of those are all going to move, and so this is going to be quite a faster moving market than the player stats. So again, I'm going to use the bet builder to do this. Now, you could do this yourself. It's an or calculation, but an or calculation with more than one winner, so it gets slightly complicated there. There are 2 or calculations in probability. It depends if they're mutually exclusive or non-mutually exclusive, meaning, you know, one is the bets are related to each other, only one can win. For example, Rashford or Hoyland to score first for Manchester United. Only one of those can happen. But you need to factor all of that in your spreadsheet and constantly re-upload the win prices, or just use a tool like Bookie Bashing, and that will do it in the background automatically. So if I now change soccer to horse racing, and I want other markets, and the meeting was Lingfield, and I'm going to search for my jockey, Mason Murphy. What I want to do is load up every race he's got today. So there are 8 races at Lingfield. The first one, he's on Superb Force. And now I want to use OR, because this is an OR calculation. I want to work out the odds of him getting any winner, and then I'm going to work out the odds of him getting more than one. So the second race, he's on McLean House. The third race, he's on Percy Willis. The fourth race, nothing comes in the drop down, he's not racing. The fifth race, nothing comes in the drop down, he's not racing. Sixth race, he's on Stop and Search. Seventh race, he's on Never Mind Me. And the eighth race, he is on Thoughtful Gift. Now, the odds of him getting 1/0 winners in this, out of any of those, is 1.13. But it was actually 2 winners, which is over 1, and the fair odds are 1.81. Now, we can back just now at 1.95, so we've got value there. We've got about 16, 17, 18% EV, albeit with just 20 quid, but we have an EV bet sitting at Betdaq just now. That can be a value back. It can often be a value lay, which is fine when it's odds on as well. So I'm going to save that to my private tracker just by putting Murphy 2+ winners at Lingfield. And I'm going to save that as odds of... Well, I'm going to save that as Steam Drift tracking because I just want to know as that changes. As I click save, I'd actually done it earlier, so I don't need to do it just now. But checking my bet tracker, there are the fair odds of Murphy. So 1.81 fair odds and 1.95 to back. I'm happily going to sweep up that money at Betdaq just now. So
those bets come up every day, don't they? These jockey multiples. And there's a couple of massive advantages to them. That one, you've just demonstrated how hard it is to work out what the true odds should be. If you were using something like Excel, that would be an absolute nightmare. Because you'd have to do 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 2 and 3. That would just be a nightmare. And then the other advantage I'm seeing here when you're putting that into your personal tracker is that, again, we're quite nimble, that when the Betfair prices are changing, or the prices are changing wherever we're getting the true odds from, the EV is adjusting in real time, whereas I don't want to be too disparaging about these match bettors, but they're not going to be doing anything like that, are they, Tom? They're just going to be leaving it up there.
Yeah, I mean, the match bettors seed a lot of bad money into the markets because they just want to get rid of their liability, and that is where the advantage is. Look, there's advantages, profit to be made on exchanges in standard markets. These enhanced specials, they're quite easy to understand where the value is coming from. Essentially, the arbitrage, the match bettors, the risk-free players, they're taking bad prices or they're offering bad prices on the exchange, and we're taking advantage of them. We just need to know how to benchmark that and whether the value is in the back or whether it is in the lay. This one's in the back. Out of those player stats, one was in the back, one was in the lay. There was nothing in the match odds treble. And this bet up here, the Cheltenham double, be very wary about the input sources you're using for data here, because there can be rule differences. This is non-runner bet is void. If you were to use the anti-post marketer at Betfair, that is not the same rules, and therefore it's not comparing apples with apples. It's comparing apples with pears.
Yeah, as an aside to that as well, with Cheltenham coming up, I remember back in the distant past having Sky and Paddy Power accounts. The amount of special offers they put up on ridiculous prices for favourites to win and everything else. I'm going to be watching out for this year, because I'm sure that there's going to be lots of arbors and match bettors taking those prices and moving them across to here. There's going to be so much value available if that's what they do. So that's definitely something to be looking out for. Thanks very much for joining us, Tom. It's good to have demonstration of the kind of offers that come up on the enhanced specials every day. Obviously, with the football and the jockeys one, they're very regular, so it's really good to have an example of doing that. Just to recap for SBC members, we have this introductory offer from Betdaq. Very good offer that you won't find matched elsewhere, so that's a really good thing. These enhanced specials are 0% commission for everybody moving forward. So, like Tom mentioned before, I think if you're a break-even player, even on the exchanges, ordinarily you would lose because you'd be paying 2 or 5% commission on your winning bets. Here, that won't be the case. So it's relatively risk-free. It's like betting with a bookmaker. Thirdly, if you want to do this for yourself, 25% off Wikibashi membership with SBC membership. So you can really get stuck in for 3 months, getting used to using all of these tools. And this is just a really good way, if you're on your betting journey, the 5 stages of profitable betting, you've got to stages 3, 4, maybe even 5. This is a good way to start using these tools and start to make money on the exchanges. So thank you very much for joining us, Tom. And hopefully we've added quite a lot of value for people who are looking to make some money on the exchanges.
Thanks, Josh. Cheers.